So you are still here on video number 6. Congratulations. Let's just recap what we've covered. We've covered the basics of the main form we use to fill everything out. We've covered most of the types of transactions. Once we're finished with this, there will be some things that come up that are unique. They don't come up often or frequently that you will have to learn as you go. And as you understand the basics of how all this works, you'll be able to figure out these things on your own. Obviously, until you're in that place, there's plenty of support from me and the rest of the staff to help you be able to make sales, satisfy customers, and do what it is people hire us to do. So the next thing we're going to go over is temporary moving permits. So temporary moving permits are right here. And to get a temporary moving permit, it's not that complicated. You need some proof of ownership, title, and expired registration from Nevada or another state. Anything like that can prove ownership. We do not have to show insurance to get the permit. However, they are required to have insurance, and it does not need to be Nevada. I know we discussed this briefly in another video, but I want to just really make it clear about temporary moving permits and what the deal is with them. So, proof of ownership, insurance is always helpful. There's lots of reasons to get a temporary moving permit. My car failed smog. I need some time to get it repaired. Let's see, what's another good reason? I just bought a car from a private party, and I've got a title and no plates, so that gives you 30 days, no problem. Well, people will give you all kinds of here's my favorite one. My car's an impound. I got it impounded for something, and I can't get it out without having it either registered or a permit. Most cases you can't get it registered while it's an impound because it may need a smog or an inspection or something like that. So that's why you need a permit to get it out of the impound. And you can get permits anywhere from 1 day all the way up to 30 days. The cost of those permits are determined by the DMV. They can range from $1 all the way up to $8.25 a day. The difference is very simple. If you just bought a new car from a private party and you've got a title, then the DMV will issue you a 30-day permit. Our cost is $1. Obviously, we charge a service fee to go get it. If you've had multiple permits, whether it be because you just couldn't afford your registration fees, whatever your story is, the DMV will keep selling you permits as long as you want for $8.25 a day. It can get very, very expensive. And some people with very high-end cars, let's say Lambos, Bentleys, Rolls Royces, things like that, those people actually can buy permits cheaper than it would cost to register the car because they wind up being about $300 for the month. I don't condone that. The DMV doesn't care if you do that. They figure if they're making $8.25 a day, they're making a fortune. So it's not a big deal to anybody. In some cases, people buy vehicles out of state and they don't have the original title yet. So paperwork from a bank saying that they've purchased the car can work. There's all kinds of different things. So there's too many little intricacies to get into in this video, but that's the basics. Proof of ownership, insurance has to be on the vehicle, but we don't have to show the insurance. So that's basically the temporary moving permits. I'm going to mark this out for video number 6 so that I know what I talked about during each video. And we're going to move on to title and registration now. Title and registration is right there. And this is a pretty simple transaction. You're going to notice a lot of similarities. All this means is that you bought a vehicle from a private party and you've got a title. In most cases, sometimes people do finance when they buy through a private party. When that's the case, they get a letter from the bank and they don't need the title. Copy the title from the bank saying that, hey, we're going to hold the title, but go ahead and register it to, Joe Blow or, whoever the registered owner is. So we need proof of ownership, generally a title. Smog inspection, if it meets their smog requirements. We've already talked about smog requirements. Nevada proof of insurance, there's no exceptions there. You have to have Nevada proof of insurance. And it might need a VIN inspection if it's an out-of-state title. Okay, this is different than an out-of-state purchase or an out-of-state registration. This is a private party transfer that can be done with a Nevada title or an out-of-state title. The only difference in the two is if they've got an out-of-state title, they need a VIN inspection also. We've talked about that in previous videos as well. So, in the instance that, let me just give you an example. Let's say I bought my car in Las Vegas, I titled it, I registered it, I moved to New York, I came back, I decided, I don't want the car anymore, but now I've got a New York title and New York registration on it, because I switched it when I got there, but I had Nevada previously. Well, when I sell that car, if that information is known, then the VIN check can be waived. Meaning the VIN number will show up in the DMV system. Hey, this car's already been registered here. We don't need the VIN check. It's not a big deal. When in doubt, always have them get a VIN check. Always exercise on the side of caution. I'd rather have too much paperwork than not enough. And at the same time, I don't want to send customers around for things that they don't need. So if you don't know for sure, find out from a superior, somebody who's been with the company longer, before you send customers on wild goose chases. Okay? So we talked about title and registration on video number 6 also. So that's pretty simple. And all these transactions, with the exception of a temporary, also require the application for vehicle registration. And like I said, we talked about that before. All we have the customer do is sign the bottom. We fill out everything else so we can make it convenient for our clients. And then, of course, there's the renewal. Renewals have a lot of variables. There's renewal right there at the bottom. Boom, we haven't talked about that yet. So a renewal is simple. It's a vehicle that's already been registered in Nevada to the same person who wants to register it now. You've got to ask questions to get this information, to elicit this information on a client so they don't run you on a wild goose chase, because they'll tell you all kinds of details that are not relevant to what we need to know to figure out what it is we're doing for them. So I'll do a whole other video on how to elicit that information from customers so that you don't get stuck in this endless cycle of customers telling you things that are not relevant. Not that we don't like to hear what they have to say, but the truth of the matter is most of what people have to tell us is not relevant to what it is we're doing to register the car for them. So in a renewal, really all you have to have is this signed by the registered owner. If it's a vehicle that requires a smog inspection, we don't have to have the physical smog inspection. As long as it's been done and passed within the past 90 days in Nevada, it's in the DMV system and we don't have to show it. If they're not late on the renewal, we don't have to show them the insurance either. If they didn't get their renewal card in the mail, we don't have to show them that. If they lost their current Nevada registration, that's okay, we don't need that either. As long as we have that application for registration filled out and signed by the customer, and then of course some way to pay it, under those circumstances, we could literally just take that in and go ahead and get it registered. I prefer to have the renewal card or the registration and the insurance and the smog if that's available. In many cases it's not, but not to worry, it's not that big a deal. Renewals are very, very, very simple to do. Now, we've got about 1 minute and 15 seconds left, so I'm going to talk about a document called an Emissions Control Residency Affidavit, which waives the necessity for someone to have a Nevada smog, because a lot of our customers find themselves out of state during the process of either registering or renewing their registration. There's a document here called an Emissions Control Residency Affidavit. And basically what this document says is, this is just instructions here, and on the back is what needs to be filled out. I'm just going to go over this one form real quick. So let's say you find yourself, your job sent you out of state for the next 3 months, your registration is coming due in 2 weeks, you can't possibly bring the car back to Nevada to get it smogged. If that county you're in requires smog inspections, or they do smog inspections, you just get one there, fill this affidavit out that basically says, hey, the car's not available in Nevada right now. When it is, I'll bring it back, I promise, and get it smogged in Nevada. And this will waive the need to have it smogged in Nevada. So that's all we'll cover in this video. We have one more good one coming out, and then we're going to go into sales. Take care.